That's not in question. He's played so well this week. He's had 9 sets in the tournament, including that one in the last of the afternoon. That just, I guess, told everybody I'm not done yet, but he has to really continue in that vein right from the off tonight, because this man is a proven winner. He's looking for his 28th ranking title to tie the great Steve Davis in 4th place on the all-time list. He is the defending champion as well, of course. This event last held 5 years ago, and it's looking very likely he'll be taking that trophy back to Bristol. We'll see, though. He did, in 2012, lose the Shanghai Masters final from 7-2 up to John Higgins. There's always a precedent in this sport, but the early frames clearly are going to tell us if that's likely to happen again. It's all on Ding to try and keep him away from the table, as the referee, Zhu Ying, just asks everybody to settle down for the final session of the final of the World Open.
上面的观众保持安静，比赛马上开始，谢谢。Thank you. Frame 10, Judd Trump to break.
So Judd Trump leads Ding Junhui 7-2. This is the final session of the World Open final, and he is just 3 frames away from the £170,000 first prize and his 28th ranking success, 5th this season. And Ding knows what he has to do. He has to produce exactly the snooker that's got him to the final, that so far we haven't really seen from him today. If he is to firstly make this close and put some pressure on, Neil folds alongside him. It's a tall order, clearly, Neil.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, hard to think that he would win. I think if you saw a scoreline of 6-3, maybe that can be a slightly dangerous lead. You've still got to win another 4, and you're not over the line by any means. But 7-2, well, he'll have to play some of his best snooker for many a year to somehow overturn that, because he was 6-1 up in the UK final that Mark Allen beat him in last season. But he's going to have to play brilliantly, and maybe a dip in form from the man he's up against, which is unlikely, Judd Trump. You're right, though. He didn't play all that well. Whether that was any kind of a reaction, I think the problem that Ding Junhui sometimes has is that, you know, when he isn't playing so well as all that, he doesn't dig in like other players might do. Oh, that's a lovely red to start. So solidly struck.
Yes, Trump hasn't really been put under significant pressure in the final. And he's a proven winner, of course. He's not like he's going to be sort of sweating about the finishing line. So he's in first here in frame 10. It's his 8th final all told of the season, 7 in ranking tournaments.
8.
Looking for his 5th trophy. And if he does win,
9.
for the 3rd time in his career, he'll have earned over £1 million in prize money for a single season. He'll also be just behind Ronnie O'Sullivan in the world rankings at the top, so could potentially go past him at the Tour Championship.
$16.
Yes, Judd was himself was 7-3 down to Zhang Anda in the English Open in Brentwood at the beginning of that golden run of 3 in a row. First to 9 as well, and he came back. Comebacks do happen, but it's the perfect start to the evening session, getting in like this.
24. $25.
Yeah, Ding played that 2-cushion glance well, actually, but it looked like the cue ball was going to come in behind the green, which would have been a bit fortunate, but they're the sort of things he needs to happen. He needs a little bit of running. He didn't get it, and he left the chance. Still a great pot, of course, from Trump.
I wonder if he'll play into the bunch, or if he could just get to that left-hand red. He would be on the red to the right corner, but he's not got a lot of leeway to get into it. Might have to play into them. Yeah. He's got the formula of winning, hasn't he? He's not necessarily on a red all that great here.
32.
Let's see it again. Formula is to be in the tournament, but by the time we reach the weekend stage, and then that's when he raises his game. Another terrific shot.
33.38. 请观众把手机调成静音，谢谢。
Few alerts going off. Again, the referee just asking people to turn their phones to silent. Extraordinary scenes last night, weren't there, when Ding finally beat Neil Robertson and sort of had a police escort out of the arena because the fans were whipped up into a frenzy. What a remarkable finish that was. But maybe that's taken something out of him. Well, you feel it would have to have done.
He looks a little disappointed with that. Perhaps he's not on the red to the right corner that he's closest to. Perhaps the right hand read the top red.
请现场的观众都确认一下手机调成静音。工作人员看一下，听到声音把下面手机再响，直接把它带出赛场，谢谢。
Well, I mean, the referee is trying her best here, but still disturbances.
Hasn't put him off, though, at least.
$50.
Now, if you're tuning in to watch the men's alpine skiing, it's been cancelled, I'm afraid. So if you were tuning in expecting to see it, the men's downhill in Austria has been cancelled because of weather conditions. Dare I say, Ding could be on a bit of a slippery slope here. Already Trump looking good in this opening frame.
$54.
It's another good shot. That's absolutely perfectly on the black. When the red could have been a problem, that's just to the right of the cue ball.
$61. $62.
So the blue to lead by 67 with 67 on. One more red to lead 8-2.
It's been a beautiful break, actually. I know he's a long way in front. I know the pressure's off, but
67.
there's always a little bit of jitters. You don't want anyone telling you you've won until you get out there and can convert it. I'm sure his brother Jack wouldn't have been in that position. Gee, he knows better. But the best way to take away any possible nerves is to start like he has.
Yeah, I don't think with his experience there was any doubt that he would take chances if he got them. So Ding has got to try not to leave any. I mean, he left a long red. It was missable, of course, but Trump thundered it in to this pocket and has just kept going.
74.
Yeah, it was definitely a missable red, but he didn't ever look like missing it. It was so solidly struck. And of course, we know it's his trademark, his long game. Occasionally, it goes astray.
79.
And he has to win in other ways, but looks to be there today.
Well, let's be clear, these tournaments are very hard to win, these weight tournaments. He's had to play every day. They both have, actually, because their matches were held over from the qualifying. So there's no sort of... And what Trump's become really good at, actually, is playing when he's not at his best. He seems to build himself into tournaments, but then when he gets to the final, to this sort of stage, he turns it on.
88.
Well, that's the secret of success for a great player, isn't it? Of course, Stephen Hendry, the player that springs to mind that was like that. I mean, he used to speak about the World Championships. Didn't even start until the
95.
semi-final one-table setup. That was the kind of player he was.
96.
And anything but a victory, even a runner-up position, was like a defeat for him. A failure.
Judd Trump's 7th century of the tournament, his first of the final, and his 75th of the season.
It's been a quite beautiful break, this, I have to say. It's even that's black that he screwed in to get on the second last red.
This is exactly how Ding, of course, wanted to start, but just didn't get the chance. He couldn't quite see the initial red from the Trump break-off. And again, it's just fractions. And then, as I say, nearly snookered him behind the green, but it didn't happen as the cue ball goes on a little tour here.
I think he tried to get the pink out into play there, which
112.
is about the only thing he's done wrong in this break. Not able to achieve that.
Well, he's done it now. What a shot.
Well, that's I know it's end of frame, but that's one of the great shots you'll see all season.
Any suggestion that the butterflies might overwhelm him have been completely dispelled. He's making a dash for the winning line in style. The black for a total clearance of 130. Judd Trump is just 2 away from retaining this World Open title. What a start to the evening. He leads Ding Junhui 8-2. So it was a tall order when the evening began for Ding Junhui, but even more so now, clearly. 8-2 down. Judd Trump's made a 130 total clearance and he's just 2 away from retaining this title.
From 11, Ding Junhui to break.
He's capable, of course, we know, of the heavy hitting. He's made 9 centuries himself in the tournament. But time's running out.
Well, after the red that he potted in the previous frame, I suppose that looked like it was over the pocket, but more evidence that not always the break-off is much of an advantage, especially against this man, I suspect. He just seems to be devouring the long pots.
3. Doesn't
look in any part of his the back of his mind that he's about to relinquish this lead, does it? This is the best he's played all week.
Eleven. $12.
Just the red at the base of the bunch. There may be a slight angle on it. Yeah, he nudged the other reds, but they didn't really move, although they can be moved at any point that he wants, because his cue ball control on the black is perfect every time. Not going to play into this time, but I get the feeling it's just around the corner.
27.
Might not be able to stay on the black very easily this time, not that I should think he's that bothered. Because we've had a 147 this week already by Zach Surety against Ding.
Yeah, I say if Zach's watching, he'll be bothered. The fact he didn't go for it. I mean, money's safe. What a great moment that was. I think we're hopefully going to see it later if there's an interval. It might not be, though.
Yeah, it was the first 147 to be made against Ding Junhui in China. And we've seen that the crowd are really behind him, although they thoroughly enjoyed that break, as I recall. Made against their man.
$34.
He's unsure as to how he's going to play this. The left-hand red wouldn't be his red of choice. He's taking him up the table, perhaps to hold for the blue or even a lower value colour than that.
35.
But the red to the right corner, the other red, would have been maybe just going into the black or the red next to the pink. He wasn't certain of position. I'm sure he'll screw into the top red here. The reds could go everywhere. And that's always the thing that can happen. Always the thing on that shot. And you know it when you play the shot. If anything, the better you play it, the more chance of red going in, because the red split better.
Well, but for that, 9-2 was looming. Didn't get an unexpected chance, and of course at this point, he's got to start taking them.
You just get the feeling that was the only way he was going to be stopped, because he was in irresistible form for a frame and a half, Trump. We saw the replay of the shot, and it wasn't a direct plant. It just skimmed off another red. So he couldn't have known about it. I don't feel that helps very much, quite honestly, going there at this stage. Because I think Ding would like to get an angle on this black just to go into them, and the pink just means he's got an even smaller target from black into the bunch with the pink in the way.
$13.
Yes, So I think that's made him have to play a different shot. Looks like he can just nudge the four reds clear this time. So does the pink go on its own spot, or is it still going in below? Yes, there's room this time, so that's absolutely fine. I think the final certainly needs this frame to go in the way of Junhui. It's an obvious statement, but certainly the spectators would love to see a comeback. I don't mind about the bad luck that, of course, Judd suffered.
He wasn't lucky. I guess if Karen Wilson's watching, he might say, what about that the flukes you had a green on brown against me? But these things happen. It's about how your opponent picks up on them.
$26. $27.
Little touch here to finish the right side of the table and behind the red into the opposite corner. Those shots do not look much, but Ding Junhui plays them as well as anybody. If you're not timing the ball, the cue ball can just move further away from the next red than you want it to. Now his thoughts are on the red just below the pink, and whether the pink and the red will go. So he's looking a couple of shots ahead here.
$35. $41. $42.
Well, his speciality has always been his cue ball excellence.
49.
The fact that it doesn't really travel very far away from the next ball. I wouldn't call him a power player or, you know, the best long putter in the game, but you know, his short game is absolutely immaculate when he's in full flow. He's barely played anything remotely as a difficult shot in the whole break.
57.
He's on every ball perfectly.
So the pack split turned the frame. It's too early to say whether it'll turn the match, but credit to Ding for stepping in and taking advantage. The only way he can put pressure on is to do this, is to win frames in one visit, if he gets the chances.
$66. $71.
You've got to fight, haven't you? You've got to show that you're not going to lie down. And that's what he's done here. Judd Trump was unlucky. Ding Junhui has stepped in and has made a terrific clearance to win his first frame of the night. Trump leads 8-3. So that 84 clearance from Ding Junhui has kept this final alive. 8-3. Trump still with a very handsome lead. And, of course, he did nothing wrong. He was just unlucky. But he did lose the frame.
那个摄影师那边。
Something putting him off. It's that end is where the photographers are. I don't want to pin the blame on anybody, but it's not the audience at that end. It is there'll be officials and photographers and people working on the event.
Yeah, I made the point. I mean, of course, he can pot terrific long balls, but he's not. That's not something he'd be #1 in the world at. Now, what's happened? Judd just waiting and seeing what he can pot here. Might be looking at double. Seen a lot of those go in this week, doubles. His attempt would be to have covered that left-hand red. Could be that he also plays a double to right middle.
Just thinking, looking at Ding, it's 19 years now since he won the 2005 China Open in Beijing. It wasn't the first ranking event in China, but it was by far the most significant because his victory at the age of just 18 sparked the boom that all the players since have been able to benefit from. Of course, we had to take a pause because of the pandemic. It's been great to be back in China, and the enthusiasm of the fans. At times, obviously, they've have to be told to calm down, but it's brilliant to see. And that is also brilliant to see if you're a Judd Trump fan. What a pot to get himself in.
Amazing red, wasn't it? I think Ding was quite happy to leave him it because he played the double knowing it was there.
Yeah, there's been, of course, 4 tournaments here in China this season. There's going to be another one in Jian next season, a ranking event, and who knows after that. But Judd Trump, if he were to win here, in fact, whoever won out of the two of them, they would have won 7 ranking titles in China, tying Mark Selby's record.
9. Thirteen. 14.
Well, he's going into the bunch again. I wonder if in the back of his mind he's hoping that the same come his way as in the previous frame where he knocked a red. It's a really good split. He hit the pink square on, and the reds have gone everywhere, most of them in open play.
Yeah, it looks like help yourself time now. But we know, and we saw it in the last frame in a different scenario, one shot can turn things. They're all there for Ding as well if he falters here.
$27. 28. 34. 35. $41. 42.
He's really pleased to move that to the left of the black. It's just stopping him from playing on the black to both corners. Not feeling that that was the right moment to do so. I mean, he doesn't have to shift it, but it would make things even easier. But it does look very much like a chance to add another frame. When the reds split in the way they did, a complete contrast to the previous frame where he knocked one in.
49.
It's all very neat, isn't it, the way that he's playing. In fact, the pair of them in this evening's session, the cue ball has been
55.
a very good control. Often playing into an area where more than
56.
one red would be available. More so in the case of Judd, whereas Ding was just immaculate in the previous frame when he had the chance.
Just checking. Wants another red, though. It's one snooker needed at the moment. And then he'll want another century. Judd Trump was born in August 1989. At that time, the undisputed king of snooker was Steve Davis. He was world champion. He was world #1. If Trump wins this final, he will have equalled Steve Davis's tally of 28 ranking titles. Very different era back then. When he turned pro, there was actually only one ranking tournament, the World Championship. And of course, as the talisman of the 80s, he
76.
had a lot to do with the fact the circuit.
It's amazing, isn't it, to have the ability to pop when you're close in and then you lose position and you can pop an amazing ball like that Reddy did down the cushion just then. That's a pity he didn't go on and give us a few more thrills.
Well, there may be some more in what could now be the last frame coming up. 106 from Trump. He's on the brink, one away from retaining the title, leading 9-3. So 2 centuries in the session from Judd Trump. He was 7-2 up. It's now 9-3.
Thank you. Frame
Ding won the second frame, but
Junhui to break.
at the moment it feels like he's trying to stop an express train. Trump needs one more, and he's champion in Yushan.
Well, he might have left the red available by the black, next to the black, and I see no reason why Ding would refuse it, because I don't see that you can afford to just wait for something to happen. Wait for your opponent to miss, because Judd isn't missing. somehow find the initiative yourself. Ding's got to do that, but he's overcut it by a mile. And he's in again. Of course, he took that break, didn't he? He didn't play in the Welsh Open, Judd. And some people criticised him for it. But I think he was entitled to have a week off. I mean, the Welsh has always been a well sort of received event. Players love playing in it. As far as the home nations are all good, but that's the one that's been going the longest. But he took the week off, which he doesn't do very often, and come back, and it's probably paid dividends.
Yeah, I think Trump wouldn't miss a tournament unless he felt he needed to. So he made the decision, and can't really argue with it now. This is his first chance to win the title. They're blessed, aren't they? There's so many tournaments. If you're at the top of the game, you do get the choice. We've seen Ronnie O'Sullivan manage his season really superbly. But of course, they will both be at the Crucible, and we don't yet know exactly who's going to be seeded where, whether they could meet in the final, the semi-finals, we'll find out. But it kind of feels like they are on a collision course there. They've been the two players of the season. A lot of other people, of course, will have a say in that, but in a few weeks' time, we're going to find out.
14.
There is the curveball, of course, in Sheffield, potentially playing Neil Robertson in round one. We know he's got to qualify now after yesterday's defeat.
Yes, and from what I saw of Neil Robertson, his game is certainly coming back into shape. I thought he was, it's an odd thing to say, I thought he was almost a better player yesterday against Ding. Just couldn't quite get the result.
22. 他进步。
Well, this has gone wrong. Not much has this evening.
Yes, he's very good at getting into the reds and opening them up, but they didn't really move. So now, with touching ball, he can play directly away from a red. I think touching ball's called, yeah. They sometimes try to get a little greedy, if you like, on that shot and the colour. And of course, if you don't get the snooker, you leave a possible red. But he has got the snooker. So he did well in the end, Judd, despite not getting the frame one when he might have done.
Yeah, I suppose it's easier to swallow when you're 9-3 up. A little thing like that going wrong.
It's not very nice, is it? Not only is he in trouble, he knows that if he does make a mistake, then this could easily be the last shot he plays. The kind of form his opponent is in. Can't think that Judd has missed a ball in live play tonight. He just played that foul, knocked the red in. That's all he's done wrong, really. Didn't get position just now, but he didn't end up missing anything. Playing a little swerve. Probably as good as he could have hoped for that. But again, there is a thin red to right corner, and I'm not sure Judd will refuse it. There's one to the middle as well. Well, there is a ball that's missed, although it wasn't an easy one. Still would count against him on that score. Not sure if he can get through to the red close to the pocket, though, here, Ding. Maybe just. Might have to play with a trace of left-hand side. It's not an easy shot to pot it from there. Put too much on it, too much of the red, perhaps. Well, the crowd would like to see a lot more of this match, of course. Many are supporting Ding Junhui. We heard that yesterday. There's no question who they're supporting. But I think even a neutral might want Ding to come back into this match.
5.
Make more of a game of it than it has been.
Yeah, I mean, the last ranking final to go to a decider was 14 months ago now. It was January last year. It was Trump actually lost it to Mark Allen at the World Grand Prix. We did have a 10-8 at the Players' Championship, but a lot of finals now seem to be quite one-sided. This could yet get closer, of course.
Searching. Fourteen. 20. 21.
Yes, he put in a little bit of a quick one there, as sometimes he does on the more powerful shots he might play. The Reds have not opened up very well. Recovery shot to middle required here. I think a bit of an annoyance will be that he's now queuing directly over the red if he plays the black, which means it's awkward. Could have finished anywhere down that right side and not been hampered by the red. It's a shot he played particularly well. There was a couple yesterday, cutback pinks that
35.
sent the cue around the angles. I don't see how he could have played it any better than that, landing on a red. I think he had a little bit of right-hand side or left-hand side on there, which just kind of checked the cue ball. What do you do here? Does he roll up behind the green? Doesn't want to play it really, but he might have no choice. The blue does not leave an obvious red. He's going to play it anyway. I don't know if he's out of frustration. Looks like he's attempting to pot his way out of this situation, because that was a tough blue to play on a possibly even tougher red along the cushion.
Guess he's reached that point now where he's going to kind of throw his arm at a few. Another tough one, this. Yeah, it looked wide.
Ding Junhui, 41.
He just can't keep potting difficult balls, especially with the pressure he's under.
No, he's gone from the elation of last night, that extraordinary win over Neil Robertson. He actually said at the end, I can't feel my legs. He was so sort of nervous and discombobulated by it all, to now the other side of snooker, which is when you're on the end of quite a heavy defeat, which looks quite likely, even if he wins this frame. Well, he sits down looking a bit frustrated. He's open reds up, but he has left a long one on.
Well, this time he somehow has put both of the high-value colours into awkward positions, which he could have absolutely done without. He might just decide to bring one of them back into play and play safe here. Only a few behind, but I think he'd rather the big value colours out in open play. Yeah, he's going to try and move the black to the accompaniment of a mobile phone going off somewhere in the stadium. I think that's the right shot, get the black into a better spot than it was in. Oh, is he going for this as well? Goodness me. There's just signs that he wants to go for everything now, because the blue followed by the red in the last visit, and now that was not really a Ding Junhui sort of shot. I think the frustration of the occasion and the pressure that Judd's put him under has made him take on shots that he wouldn't usually have played.
Yeah, and he's opening up a frame where he's in front. You know, usually you do the opposite, you try and close it down. And he could have left an absolute sitter there, and it could have finished anywhere, the balls. Well, he comes to the table rather quickly here, because it doesn't look like Trump's quite got the cover.
I agree with you. I didn't think he'd got the cover either, but he now has changed his mind. Felt that that red might be part of what is sometimes awkward with the ball very close to your line and where the cue ball is. I suspect he can get to this, but it is a tight one, of course. Amazing what you can see behind the line of the shot as we get a terrific view watching behind the camera. Say one thing for Ding Junhui, you know, he will go up to 7 in the world. And you go back to before last season's UK Championship, he was into the 30s. People said he was a bit of a spent force at the game. Hadn't shown any real motivation. But he's right there where he should be, single figure ranking.
10.
Yeah, where he belongs, absolutely. Now then, he needs a couple of reds here to take us to the interval.
11.
Well, one thing he hasn't got is an angle on the black that's suitable. So I'm not sure quite where the next red will come from now. Just couldn't get close to a red. If you're going to play the one down the cushion, then really it's a little bit all or nothing.
18.
I mean, it will be the red that he needs, but it's quite difficult. Played it with almost an escape route, but didn't he play it well?
Junhui, Martin.
So he's 37 in front with 35 on, and he's got Trump snookered. It's looking like 9-4. Well, it's over the pocket, so frame conceded. So Ding has hung on, but Judd Trump, remember, the 2 frames he won tonight were both with centuries. He's still a heavy favourite for victory, but we are going to the mid-session interval. Trump leading 9-4. Well, apologies on Eurosport if you didn't get the start of this frame. It's literally just started. Judd Trump's broken off. It's 9-4. To him, he needs one more. Ding needs what feels like a bit of a miracle comeback. He did, of course, win the pre-interval frame. He was 7-2 down coming into tonight. Trump's had 2 centuries already in this session. But that is an absolute perler from Ding. What a beautiful shot.
Yeah, he didn't mean to get on the black quite like that, and he was on it. And I would expect him to get it, but it was not a simple black, I'll say.
1.
Well, he did have a chance in the previous frame, a couple actually, but here we go again. Trump needing one more to retain this title. Of course, he won it in 2019.
Yes, he's awkward on the red to the corner, but he's got the backup red to right middle.
8.
On the assumption that Judd goes on to win, there's not that many players have lifted titles this season. It's been the same players doubling up and trebling up. Someone that has won a couple of ranking events that you know, wasn't thought of as a real big hitter as Gary Wilson. He's won a couple of home nations events, so well done to him. You know, he's one of the winners, having done so, as I say, twice. Just seeing a lot of tournaments won by the same players, aren't we? Mark Allen's won a couple, and of course Ronnie, we know about that. Chang'an has been in a final as well as winning the event pre-Christmas, the international. So you know, maybe with the World Championships coming, there's a chance for others to step up and play the best snooker at the biggest of them all. But it's the same old faces.
Yeah, and that's what's intriguing about the Crucible. Will it be one of those, or will it be someone like last year? Luca Brissell sort of came, not out of nowhere by any means, but in terms of his pedigree there, he wasn't fancied. We'll find out. April the 20th. And of course, before that, the qualifiers, April the 8th.
Yeah, just because if we wait for the balls to be replaced, last year Luca Brissell started with the Championship League, didn't he, at the start of the ranking event version, finished it with the World Championships. On that basis, Sean Murphy will be world champion, but it doesn't always work quite like that.
$16.
Yes, of course, the World Championship looms large, but we mustn't brush aside how difficult it is to win tournaments like this. These flat 1-8 events, playing every day, coming to China, sort of battling, you know, problems with sleep and all the rest of it, just turning up every day and putting in a good enough display, which he's done. And he certainly produced some great stuff in this match, not least in this session.
$24.
That's a very good shot. It's worked out delightfully. Look at what he's left. 3 reds right in the centre of the table to extend his lead. He will be a little disappointed if he doesn't get the match won here. The kind of form he's been in this evening, he's been terrific. I know he only shared the first 4 frames, but goodness me, he was good. It was only perhaps where he knocked that red in where he came unstuck in the 2nd frame of the evening. He probably would have
39.
knocked in a century there as well.
$40. $47. $48.
Seems to have looked at the 2 reds at the bottom of the bunch to the left corner as if he thinks perhaps they're a plant. He's got another red anyway, so the red at the top of the bunch also is there, but he is keen on the bottom 2.
55.
Yeah, well, they're absolutely in line, aren't they? Absolutely dead in line.
So he's got the reds where he needs them. He's already 55 in front.
$58.
Didn't finish great here.
No, I think he just overhit that slightly. I'm sure he played on the top red to the right corner. He might end up playing the same red to the middle pocket instead. Depends on whether he feels he can get position doing that. The left-hand red is quite an acute angle. It might go to middle, but he'd have to play it slowly. Yeah, I think he's going to still play the red to right corner, despite the cue ball having to go all around the angles. Never in, was it? I think he must have hit the jaws of the middle pocket there, because cue ball didn't expect to see over on that left side of the table like that.
请大家保持安静，谢谢。
He'd be annoyed there because he probably might have felt he could have closed the match out in that visit.
Yeah, it would surely have been over had that gone in, but it hasn't. So a lifeline thrown to Ding.
1.
Yeah, it is a lifeline. It's the last life, isn't it, that he's going to get. Either he does this visit, or surely the match is completely gone. He was on the brink of that, wasn't he? But this chance has appeared.
Eight. Nine. Fifteen. Sixteen.
Whatever he does do here, you'd expect that it comes down to that left-hand red up the table. As I mentioned earlier, when Judd was at the table, it's a question of does it roll into the middle slowly? Will he end up playing the double, depending on where he finishes, but it's a very narrow angle to middle.
23.
You can see it even better from that shot that it's not easy. And of course it's more relevant to whether he clears up than anything. Might be in a position to just nudge it further up the cushion from the next red, depending on where he finishes here. Yeah, I think if he could, he will try and flick that red closer to the left middle than it is now.
30.
Tried and failed. Definitely what he played.
The frustration of that shot is a microcosm of the frustration in general in how he's played in this final. Played great stuff all week.
Well, it's his sort of shot as well that he didn't manage to achieve there. Lovely touch player. I think he's gone too far for the double, so this is the shot he's faced with, and it is that
35.
same option to the middle. If he wants to play it at all, it looks as if he might be even considering not doing so. Yeah, he didn't go for that. A lot of people might have thought he did.
35.
The key thing here is all those 22 behind, they're all there if he does get a chance at this red. So this frame's still in the balance.
Trump doesn't want that one back. He's happy with that outcome.
Junhui, 4.
It's not an easy replacement because even a millimetre either way, I mean, surely it was not anything like this, was it? Can't have been like that. Must have been over more because he wouldn't have played that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult replacement. I'm not saying anything about the standard of refereeing. I'm just saying it's an awkward one because it, you know, he's playing a deft little swerve around, but the balls, if they're slightly wrong, the shot becomes almost impossible or too easy.
Good technology, though, isn't it? We don't have that for some reason in the UK events, but it got it sorted out quickly.
Foul MS. Junhui ball.
I wonder if he can get the elevation here. It wasn't anything like that, but I mean, sometimes a player might even get the spider out for a shot like this and just cue down on the ball. You get better elevation because he's got to get a swerve, and the more you raise the butt of the cue, the more swerve spin you would get. Both shots have been almost identical in the way that he's missed them. The other problem he's got here, if he plays it any slower, the spin will take more, but you play against the nap, and of course, left-hand side will go to the right against the nap, played very gently. I don't know if it would come into the equation here, but he might have to play a different shot before too long.
请大家保持安静。
Not getting anywhere, is he, Dave?
No, and the points are racking up, and the crowd are kind of, they've seen so much great snooker this week, they can't believe he keeps missing it. It's 4 times now.
Yeah, almost identical shots as well. The attempts haven't really got any better. He's got to get more elevation. Yeah. I think he just got the butt of the cue raised a little more there, and that enabled that slight amount more spin to be placed on the ball. Judd might be able to put some distance between the two balls here if he can. Play off the cushion and shift the red down the table. Well, giving him a half chance, Ding. This is not easy at all, but it's a shot he won't be refusing.
Big shot. Could be his last. If he misses it, if he gets it, we could be going into another frame. Oh, hang on. Well, it looked for a minute those kisses might have been good until he went in off.
请现场
Yeah,
观
I
众
think he was
保
a
持
bit
安
unlucky to
静，
glance
本
off
场
both
比安
blue
静，谢
and green.
谢。
Won't need that blue that's gone safe. In goes the red, so another chance for Judd Trump to get this one.
Yeah, the blue going safe, not a problem, is it, for Judd? It would be a problem for Ding if he got back to the table. Of course, he can get the match won before that ball is the ball on the blue.
It's actually been a brilliant session, hasn't it? It's just that obviously Trump came into it with such a commanding lead.
It's been very good. Ding has played a lot better this evening, strangely, but with so much to do from this afternoon, especially with Judd Trump arguably playing even better snooker. Meanwhile, Zhu Ying, the referee's got enough to contend with, putting the balls back, officiating the game and keeping the crowd under control.
Well, the green is for the title. It's to put him 23 in front with 22 on. There was a moment there, absolute calm, wasn't there? Everyone went quiet. So Judd Trump, poised for the third time in his career to have won at least 5 ranking titles in a season. For the third time to have gone over £1 million prize money for a season. And he's going to tie the great Steve Davis in 4th place on the all-time list of ranking event winners with 28.
Judd Trump, 17.
Unless Ding gets these snookers.
Yeah, he's probably got to carry on. He needs 2 to win. Most unlikely. But if you don't try, you'll never find out. Looked in, but it just pulled away ever so slightly at the last couple of rolls. Now 2 on the pink and black. I've seen it done, but only about once or twice ever.
Well, if he ends up winning the frame and the title, we'll be talking about this in 40 years. That's how unlikely it is, but he's giving it a go. He's had a great week, Ding. It's great to see him playing well. I think all fans, certainly here in China, but right around the world, like seeing him knocking in the big breaks. But something about Judd Trump in these finals, he seems to play his best snooker of the week when he gets to a final. He's so good at getting wins on the board, getting through those early rounds, and then turning up for big occasions like this. I feel sure if this wasn't the end of the match, he wouldn't be trying to get these, but he's just feeling he should give it some sort of go. It's very hard.
Yeah, I mean, to get 2, 1 is extremely difficult. You've got to get it almost straight away because of the chance of the person who's in front just putting the balls over the pockets, or in the pockets in this case.
Yeah, that's it now. Judd Trump's brilliant season continues here in Yushan. He wins his 5th ranking title of a campaign that is not yet over to defend the World Open title. He made a great start to take a 7-2 lead into the evening. He made 2 centuries tonight, and he's finally seen off Ding Junhui by 10 frames to 4. Well, it's a sight that we're just so used to, isn't it, Judd Trump? And already this season, of course, the English Open, the Wuhan Open, the Northern Ireland Open, the German He'd lost in a couple of other finals as well, but he's come out on top. Here, there is the Roll of Honour updated. Of course, we had to wait to come back to Yushan, but it was kind of a flashback to 2019 with Judd Trump getting a second success there, following on from, of course, Mark Williams' ding in 2017, Ali Carter 2016 as well. Terrific week, heavy scoring, some great snooker, some great drama, particularly last night. That's probably the match of the week, wasn't it? Ding and Neil Robertson. As I say, it's good to see him playing well, but just didn't produce it this morning. There was a big frame, actually, frame 5. Had he won that 3-2 down, you just never know, but Trump grew stronger, and tonight came out really fired up, 2 centuries. Ding played well tonight as well, but he was just so far behind. The consolation is a check for 73,000, being the top 8 in the world again. Trump, 170,000, so that takes his earnings this season over £1 million. And there's still, for him, actually 3 tournaments: the mixed doubles, the Tour Championship, and of course the World Championship, and that is the one he'll be targeting to become a multiple world champion. Not many people can say they've done that. A terrific week, Neil, and a worthy winner, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's just a serial winner these days, isn't he? And he knows exactly what's required. The formula is not always to play your brilliant best early, because you'd like to play well in all the matches, but just to get through. Rode his luck a little bit, I think. In that match with Kyron Wilson, I thought he was a little fortunate, but then I think lucky about the way he won today. He was superb.
Well, as the late, great David Vine would say, it's wages time. Well, it will be in a minute. They're going to get their prizes, and of course, it's always a great ceremony in China. But they all come for the trophy, and that's what Judd Trump will be taking home with him. As I say, eras change, and this one is particularly great in terms of volume of tournaments, but even so, it's a very competitive one. So to win 28 ranking titles at the age of 34 is a superb achievement, and you just know there'll be more. Maybe this season. As I say, there's a couple of big ones coming up. Just while we wait for the ceremony to start, just to reiterate that we'll be live on Discovery Plus for the whole of the World Championship qualifiers with commentary. So you can join us for April the 8th and follow the drama, and it is drama all the way, to see who's actually going to qualify for the Crucible. And then Discovery Plus and Eurosport, of course, will be live for all 17 days of the World Championship, which kicks off from the Crucible in Sheffield on April the 20th. I'm sure snooker fans don't need to be told when it starts. You all know about that. But that is when it's going to be, just a few weeks' time now, as we are about to start the ceremony.
Welcome everyone. 我是主持人孟苦玉，我是主持人彭丽媛。生机勃勃的3月，星光熠熠的台球盛宴，引爆世界台球场。
And, well, it goes without saying, if we were to bring that World Championship trophy back here to China, that would be the most popular victory ever. You can see the disappointment, but as he reflects in due course, he'll be satisfied, I think, with the snooker he's played this week. Just didn't quite produce it in that first session. He did start to play well tonight. Well, the question we ask at the start of every tournament is who's going to win it, and for the 5th time in a ranking event this season, the answer, emphatically, is Judd Trump. He just got a couple of seasons, didn't he, between winning the 5 and 6, where he just tailed off a bit, but now he's back to this relentless winning fashion. Just about get the flowers on his around his neck. And you can see the great pride that the Chinese snooker community have in their tournaments here. We've seen it in this ceremony. All the people who put it on, put the money in, and they've got a great champion in Judd Trump, who's going to be taking away a mammoth cheque of 170,000. There it is. That's the picture that tells you the 20 World Open champion here in Yushan, China. Once again, is Judd Trump. He has defended his title, and he will go to the Crucible for the World Championship again as one of the big favourites in a few weeks' time. So that's it from the World Open, from the whole Eurosport team, from Philip, Fergal, Neil and myself. Thanks for being with us, and we'll be back for the World Championship from the 20th of April, but before that on Discovery Plus on the 8th of April, you can watch the qualifiers as well as the drama, the unmissable drama of the World Championship approaches once again. Finally, congratulations again to Judd Trump. From us all here, thanks for watching and goodbye.